We're recording. So this is a very exciting morning to me. I did not expect my blood pressure to go quite so high, but it is there, and that's fantastic because I would have gotten there anyway because I'm super, super excited to share with you what this team has accomplished. Now, one of the things that you have all done, you're super adept at Zoom by now, and you've already muted yourself. Thank you so much. That'll just allow our student presentation to go flawlessly without any audio interruptions. Thank you for that. I'm going to introduce a little bit about the course, and then what I'm going to do is turn it over to Stephanie, who is our volunteer facilitator and also the mother of Grace, who is one of our star students in this class. Stephanie will speak a little bit about what she's experienced with this group. Then we're going to present, they are going to present something that will truly blow your mind. I will jump back on and ask us all to give a little bit of feedback, thoughts, questions, observations. This is a great opportunity to celebrate what you're about to hear, which is incredible creativity, a new found relationship with dyslexia as a significant cognitive advantage, and perhaps something that you would actually want to purchase and have in your life. I will review a little bit about what the course has covered so that the students can actually understand the breadth and the magnitude of what we've learned together. And then what I have noticed is that it's probably best at that point to abruptly end the meeting because it does get a little bit emotional, or at least it does for me. There's been some waterworks happening with some of the parents. So rather than everyone sort of staring at each other, dabbing their eyes, we just cut it off and then everyone can dab their eyes in private. One thing that I'm going to ask the parents, if you would be so kind to please, please, please help your student go through the post surveys after this class. It allows us as an organization to know and measure the impact that we're making with students. Without further delay, and I mean further delay, we're now half an hour into this. Thank you for sticking with us. I am so excited to introduce this team. This is a multinational corporation, as we have just heard. Grace is located in Germany. We've got one headquarter in Massachusetts, the other one out there in Iowa. So we are a multinational corporation that you're about to hear from. And I personally adore these three students. I have known Tess for many, many years because she goes to school with my son, Bodie. And I've always been a big fan of Tess, but the moment I found out dyslexia at all, she was dyslexic, it made sense as to why I like her so much. Grace has been a new introduction to my life, and she's awesome. I also have the pleasure of teaching her twin sister, who is going to be presenting this afternoon. She's in a class with my son, Bodie. And then, of course, there is our friend Andrew out there in Iowa, who is an extraordinary thinker, a well-poised gentleman, a diplomat, if you will, among diplomats. But to start off, I would like to turn it over to Stephanie, who has had a front row seat on the development of this team. Stephanie, without further ado.
Hi, everyone. Well, I'll just say what I kind of planned to say. First of all, I just want to say it's been a true blessing and a real joy for me to work with NoticeAbility and to work with these three kids. Andrew, Tess, and Grace, you are dynamite kids. It took me a while to come up with that word, and I was like, that's exactly it, you're dynamite. All of the people watching right now can literally, you can make your bets right now that these kids are gonna go out and change the world someday. They're gonna do something amazing with their lives. And I think probably they would have anyway, but I do think that this experience has definitely added to added to that growth. That, you know, the little seeds that have been planted are going to sprout for sure. I think this team could have gone a couple of ways because all three of them are very strong personalities. They're very, they all have leadership abilities, and fortunately, they all work together super well. They actively put effort in being mindful of one another, of asking for input, of listening to each other's opinions and responding in a kind and empathetic way. We did talk about that in the course, but I think that's just part of their personalities as well. Like, it wasn't a challenge for them to do so. They all contributed, and you guys will see just the brilliance in their choice. We had to think of problems that we saw in our daily life. Ranging from what we could see in our homes to what we saw in the world. I say we, I didn't take part in it. They did that. They looked at the world and saw the problems, and then you'll see that they came up with an amazing solution. That is actually viable. I think that it is viable. And we covered a tremendous, I mean, even for me, I was shocked at the magnitude of information that we covered in the 7 weeks. It was from, you know, just the introducing the kids to the fact that there's a world of dyslexic people out there, including amazing adults who are interested in seeing them succeed. So we looked at the mind strengths that these kids have and will be able to develop. We looked at negotiation and conflict resolution. We looked at innovation, entrepreneurial method, critical thinking skills they had to start using to, like, say, is our product viable? We did active listening. Why is body language important? Why is empathy important? Mindfulness techniques. I mean, the whole time that I was taking part in this, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. Is amazing. This is really something for me. How to have self-compassion, literally how we can change our brains and see ourselves through positive affirmations and active optimism. How we can manage our fear and have courage, the importance of being organized and setting goals and setting steps in our goals. I mean, the amount of material that we covered is amazing, and I think these kids are going to take it and run with it. And I just want to say the top 3 lessons, I had to write them down, that I hope Tess and Andrew and Grace, I hope that you'll remember that you have a dyslexic mind, and this means that you have important and advantageous mind strengths. And I, as well as Dean, I am confident. I've seen you guys, I've worked with you guys, and I know that you are going to develop them and you're going to accomplish amazing things. And I could cry. Number 2, you're part, and I hope you can have seen this now, that you're part of an extraordinary tribe of dyslexic children and adults around the world. You're part of something big and amazing. And number 3, you can see problems or stress or fear as negative, or you can choose to see them as opportunities. And I think that was a huge message from this course, is to look at problems as opportunities and think, hey, I can do something about that. I can choose to do something about that. And I can use that stress to achieve a goal. And, you know, it won't always be easy. And I'll tell you that from experience, and it won't. Anyway, I hope you start to, you know, actively think about these lessons and then put them to use in your life. Andrew, Tess, and Grace, I'm looking at you as much as I can. There's Andrew, hold on. See if I can see Tess. Can I see you, Tess? There's Tess. Where's Grace? I can't see you, Gracie, but I have a very clear image of you in my brain. You guys are all whip smart. You are clever. You are so talented. You are engaging. You're creative. You're imaginative. You are good-humored, you are good-natured, and you are just good people. And I think you're extraordinary people, and I thank you for letting me learn with you, and I wish you good luck. Right now on the presentation and in life. I could keep going, but I'll stop because I think.
Wow. Stephanie, that was so eloquent and beautifully put, and I think you need to be our new spokesperson because little waterworks, everything. My gosh, like that's if everybody could hear what you just said, we'd be everywhere. Thank you. Thank you for taking this so seriously and articulating it so beautifully. And thank you what you've done with this course and brought to these kids' lives. I think that these three deserve their big moment. Are we ready? Andrew, Grace, Tess, we good?
Yeah.
This is the time? We got all the, you ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, I need to
Everybody,
get the.
welcome and enjoy the presentation by Tess, Andrew, and Grace.
1 second, I think Grace is getting ready.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Hooray, good job.
All right.
Good job, Grace.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm 12 years old. I'm dyslexic and I live in Iowa.
Hi, I'm Tess. I'm 11 years old. I'm dyslexic and I live in Massachusetts.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm 11 years old. I'm dyslexic and I live in Leipzig, Germany.
We are Team Unifi. The process of this project was we identified a problem that many share. One of the biggest problems is that grandparents are lonely.
Grandparents often feel lonely and want pictures and connection with their grandchildren. Grandparents want to spend a ton of time together, but kids these days have very busy schedules, such as soccer practice, gymnastics, saxophone lessons, and so much more.
Our solution is that we came up with an easy-to-use app that can help families and friends connect and not be lonely. It is a way for busy people to stay in touch and interact even when they are far apart. You could play games with each other right before a doctor's appointment or if you're stuck at the hospital. Here are some features that our app includes.
One feature is photos. Once you share a photo with the grandparents, they cannot share it again for internet safety. You can share these photos from your iPad or phone. Another one is videos. See videos your friends and family made, and it can make people happier. You can share how-to videos or just check-ins. Share is like a social media that cannot be reposted, and you can take it up and down. It is only for your family, and it is fine for your kids. You can only share with the other people who are also on the app, though.
Another feature our app includes is a calendar to make sure you don't call at a bad time, such as during soccer practice or gymnastics or even school. You can also map out an appropriate time to call. Another feature our app includes is calling. During coronavirus, we figured out that video calling is important so that you can check in and see how your family is doing. The last feature I'm going to mention is messaging. It's an easy communication that takes no time and it's good.
Games. The games feature allows you to play games with family and friends who are just in the next room or even in another continent. The games include fun things for all ages like tic-tac-toe, chess, and battleships. Badges. The badges feature allows you to complete tasks and challenges and earn badges that come with little prizes. For example, you could change your icon photo or have fun emojis to use in video calls. And help. The help feature is for people who aren't great at technology. Everything is explained here in a very easy language.
Bring your family together with Unifi. be closer than ever before during coronavirus.
Our very nice leader, Miss Stephanie, has awarded us with $211,000 in seed capital.
Thank you for watching our presentation. We hope you enjoyed it.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Mind blown. Absolutely stunning presentation. You all are so precise, rehearsed. You're like this well-oiled machine. That was an extraordinary presentation. I'm seriously blown away by how absolutely flawlessly you presented that and walked us through it, and also your articulation of the problem. This is so paramount. This is so important for end users, people that are potential customers or investors, to understand and really feel the problem. I feel this problem. My son is busy. My mother definitely wants to hear from him more often. That disconnect right there, the technological challenges of getting the two of them together is so difficult. And to have that so easily presented in such a user-friendly way. Yes, of course, the tech aspect for you all as young individuals who are tech indigenous, that's easy for you. But for the older individuals to understand how they can just get what they need without having to jump over all those little obstacles and know when the right time to call. I mean, that is such a developed idea that is keeping the mind, keeping in mind the needs and the expectations of two completely different generations that are living side by side, but on totally different schedules. And I love how you articulated the fact that, yes, this is a problem that exists all the time, but especially right now during this pandemic. This is something that would demand that it gets accelerated and brought to the market because it needs to be available to people right now. And the beautiful thing is that it will be something that people can use well beyond the duration of this particular pandemic. One thing I want everybody to notice, if it's not already incredibly obvious, is the way you work as a team is just extraordinary. I mean, I've seen you. I mean, when you guys are working in a class, you're like, go ahead, Andrew. I didn't interrupt. He's like, oh, no, Tess. I'm sorry. I mean, you operate, I think, in the way that most of us as adults wish we did. And you do this not only with each other, who you've never met physically, but also doing it through this weird Zoom environment where we're like these little talking heads, and you've created this respect and this camaraderie that is extraordinary. I'm going to do my best to stop speaking, which is so difficult for me, especially when I get so jacked up like I am right now, and open it up to the audience for some thoughts, feedback, questions. Oh, one last thing before I do that. It was very, very interesting. They mentioned seed capital. Seed capital is fictitious money. I've had to break some hearts when I tell them it's fictitious, but seed capital is awarded at the end of every class and by the facilitator as an indication of how well the team has been working as an organization. And they can get $0, which means everybody's arguing and speaking over each other, up to $20,000, which is the maximum. You broke well through $200,000, which means to the audience, what the audience should hear is that you are like the United Nations of diplomacy. You guys are so good at communicating with each other that you blew past the $200,000 threshold. And I'm not sure how many teams actually come close to that. So that's to put it in a little context. But they do accept real money now from investors. So I just put that out there. Okay, that being said, I welcome any feedback, thoughts, accolades, kudos. I'm gonna be quiet.
I guess I'll go first. Hi, I'm Amy Johnson. I'm in Los Angeles, California. And I know Gracie and Stephanie. And I just want to say to the team how impressed I am. I teach at Pepperdine University, and I teach a class on leadership and for graduating or seniors. And your presentation today on, a business philosophy, an actual product and a service that is in desperate need right now was phenomenal. And I want to echo both of the leaders of this organization to, say that at your age, how you're thinking about problems and how you're articulating those problems and then actually coming up with a solution. And then on top of that, learning how to work virtually with each other productively and respectfully is, one, incredibly inspirational, but also very unique. And you should be incredibly proud of yourselves that you were able to accomplish that in, I think, a fairly short amount of time too. And so that's also an added complexity, and it was beautifully, beautifully articulated. So I just want to say how proud and excited I am that you are future leaders in our world, and that you're already thinking of ways to make the world better. So thank you so much.
Amy, thank you. Tess, Grace, Andrew, did you just hear that? That's a professor from a university. And by the way, Pepperdine is an awesome school. So you know what my recommendation? Ask for a letter right now. A recommendation. Okay, good. Okay, that's that. I'm sorry. Thank you, Amy. That's high praise and totally deserved. Thank you so much.
Now, I'm no professor, but I'm Bodhi, and I happen to go to school with Tess, and I'm in the group with Grace's sister, who I believe is here. Where are you, Samantha? Oh, there you are. So, and I also know Andrew from this awesome pitch I heard recently about this grandparents app. So I just wanted to say great job, and I would totally use this because me and my grandmother don't see each other a lot, but I'm sure she does want to see me more. So just awesome idea, and I will totally get it when you release it.
Thank you, Bodhi. So we've got professor endorsement, youth endorsement. Not bad. That's a good
grandma endorsement.
Grandma endorsement. That's what we need to hear.
Or Mima, as they say. Yes, Grace, get this app ready. I'm all for it. You send it to me, and we're good to go.
That's awesome. So we've got now customers from 12 to, ma'am, you are clearly in your early 70s but I anticipate that some of your older peers perhaps would also be interested in this. So let's say from 12 to late 80s, that is your market. Big market. Okay, sorry.
Dean, the big question, whose was better, me or Ethan?
You know what? I will tell you, and it's going to come down to this. It was... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm muted. Oh, I can't remember. I'm sorry. It was just, this Zoom app, I'm telling you. I would take you two as interns any day. And both you brothers. That goes for all kids on this conference call, by the way, because I
take them up on that.
Anybody else? You can dab the eye if you want first.
Well, I would just like to say what a fantastic presentation. Your use of technology just in your presentation was awesome. And then also the idea is fantastic, where they also add in the playing of the games. I feel like there's a lot of a lot of maybe other products that you could maybe stay in touch with, but that idea that you can play games with them, and of course that it's all in one place. That is an awesome idea, guys. Great job.
Really versatile, isn't it? And also the what I found so fascinating was the incentivization of the badges, right? You're essentially gaming something that may be, challenge, right? Schedules are a challenge, right? But making that time to connect with people in your family and then having a gaming component to reinforce that, oh yeah, well, actually I was giving Grace, I know Grace, excuse me, not Grace, Tess, I know Tess, and we have a relationship where I can bust her chops a little bit. And I was like, hey Tess, well, you better call your grandmother. She's like, I already did twice today. That means I would have gotten 2 badges. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be quiet now. It really works. It's really cool.
Yeah, if I can add one more thing, I totally agree. It's super, super cool. And I think those are all so cool. And if you get into this business and you go even farther, I know my grandmother personally is a big writer, and I'm dyslexic, which I think most of us can agree with, and so
Relate?
relate with. Thank you. Dyslexic. So like maybe something where she can write it in and then it could read to me, that kind of thing. That's super cool as well. Just a little piece of a little recommendation.
Awesome. I just got a private text message from Tess who said, I already talked to both of my grandmothers today too. 2 more badges for Tess. All right, she's breaking the mold here. You're setting the bar high for the rest of us.
Hi, this is Katie. I just wanted to comment that I love this idea. My mother is hounding me all the time about how to stay connected with my kids. And I love the calendar because she'll always call and say, oh, is this a bad time? When can I reach you? And I love that she knows this is a good time to call. So I think it's genius. And if you need another investor, she's in.
Actually, I would like to add something to, especially when you live the calendar. It's really cool if we live in a completely different time zone. So for us, we always have to calculate. So is she already up? Can we call? And actually, sometimes we get calls in the middle of the night, so it's pretty good. But there's something else I want to point out. I'm really impressed by the fact that the kids work together, but they never actually have seen each other in person. So they did it all over the internet, which is like, for me, I grew up without internet and all this stuff. So it's amazing for me how they did that. And I think that's pretty cool. The process, how they developed this, I'm really proud that they could do that.
Thank you for saying so. And sorry, I don't even know your name. I have got a deep relationship with your entire family.
Thomas.
I'm Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas.
Thank you so much for sharing your family with us over the last 7 weeks. It has been extraordinary. We talk about your family on a daily basis here in our house. So thank you for your generosity.
So you've done an amazing job. Tess hasn't shared much about this, so my mind is blown to see the presentation and the product. So my question is, what's next? So these kids have this idea, and we talk about investors. Do your students often take it to the next level on their own? How do they graduate from this stage?
That's such a wonderful question. I appreciate that. The reason why I created these classes, we've got 3 classes that are focused on the 4 top professions where dyslexics are disproportionately successful: engineering, architecture, entrepreneurship, and the arts. And the idea was to simply use these contexts for dyslexic students to understand the cognitive advantages associated with dyslexia, and then to embed what we call social emotional learning, which is things like leadership, collaboration, negotiation, teamwork, etc. We didn't anticipate. I mean, I part of me suspected that really very legitimate businesses ideas would come out of this, but the initiative to create these classes was already something so substantial that I didn't even think that far down the line. When I look at these presentations, there's very compelling ideas that are highly viable from a business perspective, that don't necessarily require tremendous amounts of capital, and that could arguably create a significant footprint in the marketplace. May it be from an app to a physical product to a service. And so we are trying to figure out how we go to that next level. And I think I can't say that I've got the answer right now. I love that you're speaking to your husband, John, who I suspect is dyslexic only because he's so darn good at what he does. So perhaps we can have a little feedback loop offline, but it's serious. We need to think about what these kids can do with these products. And the beautiful thing is, they've got so much of what is required to actually start. And then we just need some adult expertise, right, to help inject, the legalities and the accounting components, and we can figure this out and help them. But there's nothing that would stop these from going to the next level. One thing that I will say is that we started something called the NoticeAbility Alumni Hub, which is a private Facebook group that I'll send you a follow-up email. I would love to have the families a part of that, so we can stay in touch with each other. One of the other things is, and I've talked very, very candidly with Ethan and Andrew's mother, and I would like to extend the same invitation to all the parents on the line. Your kids are perfect student mentors as we continue to roll this out to other students, right? So the idea of Tess being able to drop in and help shepherd kids a little bit younger than her with an adult facilitator there for all sorts of many reasons, these kids can now all of a sudden turn from the grasshopper into the master, and they can help start to lead other kids through this process. So I don't know, it's an exciting question. And the idea is that I don't have an answer, but I do know smart people that can help us come up with that answer.
Thank you so much. We really have talked a lot in our family about the fact that you are teaching the tools to be successful, and that the product is great, but it's not the only part of this. And I can't wait to see what these kids do with what you've given them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. At the risk of going off on a tangent, and I don't mean to be, because I know we've probably already taken too much of your time today, but I will say something. There's a book called The Dyslexic Advantage, which is the cornerstone of the pedagogy that we've created. And one of the things that the authors talk about is they've interviewed thousands and thousands of dyslexics. They talk about something called the 700 Club. These are Fortune 500 CEOs, global entrepreneurs, all of whom have dyslexia, also who scored a cumulative of 700 or less on their SATs. And the authors say, with all due respect, standardized testing is a rudimentary, prehistoric, and absolutely inappropriate form of intelligence testing, in my opinion. But they say, with all due respect, 700 or less on the SATs and becoming who you are, can you tell what happened in that process? And each and every one of them say, I can remember with vivid detail the one time that my aunt, uncle, coach, teacher stopped and said, Andrew, you're really good at that. And went on. That moment of positive affirmation is what changed the trajectory of these individuals' lives. And what we were thinking when I created this was, can we find a way to replicate that 700 Club moment through a course? Because not all of us have the benefit of supportive, engaged educated parents about dyslexia and provide that sort of infrastructure? And can we create a 700 Club moment through a course that can go into struggling urban public school districts where that sort of affirmation isn't readily available? And so that's our hope, is to create that catalyst for the individual to say, oh, wow, my dyslexia actually provides, yes, tremendous struggle, but also gives me the keys to the kingdom. I'm off to the races. So that's probably a pretty good jumping off point, unless somebody else wanted to chime in. I know we've already taken 30 minutes additional of your day, and I'm sorry about that.
I just will add, I'm a friend of Tess's and her family. Hopefully, she's just so fabulous. This has been an incredible presentation. I want you to know I also work at a university, and I frequently get presentations from Harvard College students. And I have to say, this is in the league of those presentations. It was incredibly clear. It was beautifully articulated. The graphics were also beautiful and fun and colorful. And I thought it was a really, really wonderful presentation. And I don't know the other kids, Grace and Andrew, but I can attest that Tess is the most clever, entrepreneurial, and kind kid I know. And we feel incredibly lucky that she lives next door and that she has been also an awesome mentor to our 5-year-old. So I'm sure Grace and Henry and Andrew are just like that as well. And we were just so delighted to be able to listen to this presentation. Congratulations, Tess, Andrew, and Grace. It was really great. Thanks so much for including us.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you so much. I'm getting rounds of applause, and that is just extraordinary. My tip to Tess and to Grace and Andrew is, hey, if not Pepperdine, maybe Harvard. Okay.
They would be lucky to have them, in my opinion.
We'll cross that bridge later. We all get to hang out if you come to Harvard, because that's where I live, is in Cambridge. So that's where I'm going to argue, but I'd probably prefer to be in Pepperdine because it's a one beautiful campus. So we'll discuss all that. We can have our next meeting about that. Listen, as everybody has just articulated, the three of you, and including you, Ethan, and my son, Bodhi, look, you have an extraordinary gift. We know that with this gift comes extraordinary challenge in the classroom during these hard-fought years in education. When I'm speaking to kids, I often say, look, right now you're eating broccoli, right? For the first 20 years of your life while you're in education, all you're doing is eating broccoli. Then you get out of school and it's nothing but chocolate cake, because that work ethic plus that ability to see the world in a different way allows you to rejoice. Life becomes a chocolate cake. By the way, it's a heck of a lot better, in my opinion, than having 20 years worth of eating chocolate cake. Oh, math is easy, spelling's easy, essays are easy. And then you get out into the real world and you're like, wow, life is actually really difficult. So my argument is, look, we're spending 20 years eating broccoli, but we got 60 years of eating cake ahead of us. So you three, I've got to include Sienna, because I know her well, and Ethan, Bodhi, all of us, you have a future ahead of you that is going to be something you cannot fathom at this point in your life. And your intellect, your ingenuity, your creativity, plus your work ethic is going to make you one of the most desirable applicants in whatever you choose to pursue. Now, my challenge to you is this. The first one is, please take our post survey. Second one, far more importantly, is as you go into this world, we do not have a way to identify each other. There's not a dyslexic sort of label on our head. Therefore, we operate in this world thinking that we're somehow alone, even though approximately 15% of the global population has dyslexia. So when you know how talented we are, you know that we pass each other on the street, not knowing who each other is on a daily basis. My ask of you
Buy some merch.
is to recognize right now that you are members of a tribe. And you, I would argue, are elder members of that tribe because your understanding of your dyslexic strengths is so advanced that as you start to become the success that I know you will, that all of us know you will, I invite you to actually articulate the fact that your dyslexia is something that has shaped you in both a challenging and a very positive way. Because the more we can correlate, meaning we can connect our dyslexia to our success and our creativity, the more the world will start to understand dyslexia in a new way. And as many of you know, my organization, NoticeAbility, no disability, we have a slogan, which is dyslexic before it was cool. I anticipate that in about 15 years, dyslexia is going to be one of the most desirable things that you can list on your resume when you're applying for a job. I believe that your creativity will be so coveted, meaning so desired by the workforce, that everyone is going to start going around going, oh, no, I'm dyslexic. No, I'm dyslexic. And you say, no. I was dyslexic before it was cool. As Bodhi is so beautifully doing a little product placement there, you are dyslexic before it is cool. I am humbled to have been a part of your lives. This is not the end. This is the beginning. When you go and you're ruling the world, don't forget this little nonprofit, NoticeAbility, okay? Tax-deductible gifts, okay? Remember, you are the future. This is how much faith in it. I'm putting a plug in for future fundraising 15 years from now. That's how much faith I have in you. Don't forget the little people. You think I'm gray now. I'm going to be very gray then. You guys are the future of this organization, of this movement. Thank you for being a part of my life. We are going to stay in touch.
Before we hang up, can I just, I'd like to publicly thank Dean and Katie, and Dean, your family, and probably Katie, your family. From my very first email, Katie was so like, I mean, she gave me such an amazing response. And I immediately felt, I don't know how to explain it, but I felt that there was, I reached out and there was a connection already. And then that you had this idea during this time to provide for free this service to so many families. I know, Dean and Katie, that you have put hours. I mean, I can't even imagine how you've accomplished it. I know that you've put so much time and energy and effort and passion in your heart, and you're like, it's clear. And I want to say thank you. I feel very inspired, and I feel very gifted that my family's been able to be a part of that. I originally saw Dean on a TED Talk, and I was like, who is this guy? So, and I do that all the time. You know, I love TED Talks, and I kind of collect my own little box of treasured people. And so it's been super fun that I got to meet Dean and his family. Bodhi's like just a little mini Dean. He's going to grow into like, it's going to be, I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to, I've only seen Dean's wife briefly, but she's been in a video, and my girls have watched this video. It was like a kind of a teaser for another class that they're doing. And that after watching both Dean and his wife, they were like, where's this school? Can we go to this school? I was like, I know, this is awesome. We're going to follow this. We're going to, you know, we're going to figure this out. And anyway, I just want to publicly say thank you. You, it's amazing that there are people out there like you guys. Katie, thank you too. I don't see Katie's face, but I don't click over and see Katie. Katie, all right, there you are, Katie. Hi, thank you so much. You've done so much work, incredible. You've juggled all kinds of things, and you've done a great job at it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, and I will miss you guys terribly.
Oh, the moment we can fly, we're coming. We're
You
coming.
better.
Yeah. No, look, this has been an opportunity that has been provided by us, thanks to the generosity of 3 families who have made this happen. And I can't wait to share with them what you've just said,
I
because
hope you do. I would like to think that.
this
Yes,
is,
thank you to them as well, that this opportunity has been there. I know a lot of people have been putting effort and money and time into it. Thank you.
it's been an extraordinary experience. So thank you all. Andrew, with a big old yawn there, brother, you've been seated at that desk for 70 minutes. You deserve to go and eat some cake, kick back. I wish I could say watch a hockey game or a football game, maybe watch a rerun of one. Grace and Tess, I'm so proud of all 3 of you. Like I said, we're not going to prolong this goodbye because it gets awkward and teary. So thank you for being part of our lives, and we will see you on the next adventure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.